Hello everyone and welcome back to IMO Reviews. Today we are discussing Samaritan on Amazon Prime, directed by Julius Avery and starring Sylvester Stallone, Javon Walton, Pilar Asbeck and Dasha Polanco. Samaritan tells the fictional story of a young boy who discovers that a long-lost superhero still exists, as the two build an unlikely friendship. But before we go any further, could you please be a dear and hit those magic buttons down below, the like button and the subscribe button if you haven't already. It costs you absolutely nothing but the wiggle of a finger, and yet it makes all of the difference to me and the channel. And of course, we thank you if you do. So let's get into what I liked about Samaritan. I thought the cast was really good. Sylvester Stallone in particular. The old dog still got the charm. And I really did enjoy and buy into the chemistry that he had with the young boy, Javon Walton. It added a lot of heart and good spirit to the movie. And despite my better judgment, I also enjoyed the villains here. They're so cheesy and they're so cookie cutter. But I do feel like the film didn't overplay its hand. It never went overboard, and it never underutilized it either. They offered some level of threat. They were a presence in the movie. I mostly understood their motivations. They were dumb, but it was fun. I can look past the cons of the bad guys, simply out of the fact that I did think they were a fun addition to the movie. And that kind of is the problem here. This is a really hard movie to break down into positives and negatives like I usually do, because it doesn't reinvent the wheel, it's incredibly generic, it commits many faults, yet it totally worked. Realistically, my list of cons are way bigger than my list of pros. But by the end of the movie, I still feel like I had a positive experience and had fun watching it. The movie knows exactly what it is. A cheesy superhero B-movie for Amazon Prime. And it does an extremely good job of being exactly that. Here's what the film felt like to me. If you take the movie Hancock, take Will Smith out of that movie, put Sylvester Stallone in it, change the love plot to a revenge plot, and that's Samaritan. And that sounds like a negative, but it isn't. It's a lot of fun. I do also think the movie was aided by the fact that the other movies I've watched this weekend and had to review weren't quite so positive. So maybe this was just the best of a bad bunch, and maybe that made me like it even more. I don't know, but I just have to speak from my heart and be honest. It's a really flawed movie that I had a great time with. But some of those cons do need addressing, simply because I do think they're quite amateuristic and very easily fixed. The big one being that some of the smaller characters are just completely underutilized. The mum character in this movie is so absent for so much of it that when she does finally return, I completely forgot she was even in the movie. And that's nothing against the actress. The actress can only really work with what she's got, and I still enjoyed her performance for the 15 minutes of screen time that she gets. But the character just feels completely unnecessary to the story. And I also wish that the film offered more explanation. You really don't find out much at all about the superheroes in this world. Where do they come from? What caused them? What is the extent of their powers? Are there more people like this? Had it have been in the movie, I can't help but feel like the world would be much more fleshed out and interesting. It's very silly. It's very cheesy. It's completely throwaway. But it's the fact that the movie is okay with that. It wants to be that, and it's going to succeed in being that makes the movie work. It also bears mentioning that there is a de-aging scene towards the end of this movie that is so horrifically bad that I laughed out loud. But in a good way, it just added more to the stupid fun that I was having. So I'm gonna give Samaritan a 6 out of 10. This is movie junk food. It's the perfect sort of movie for when you're feeling ill and you're passed out on the couch. You're looking for something to watch so you can pass the hours, but nothing that's too thinky or too flashy. Just something that's gonna pass the time and require the minimalistic amount of thought from you, and yet still have fun with it. Thank you for watching this review. Please be sure to hit that like button and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and please do hit the comment section. Have you seen Samaritan? What did you think about it? Let me know in the comment section below. Take care, and I look forward to seeing you on the next review.